Okay, and hello everybody. Well, this broadcast is not for everyone. This is not for every people out there, and I'm sure this is not the type of many guys. Well, just like what I'm saying to my students most of the time, a lot of Filipinos would rather be mauto kaysa matuto. So today we'll be discussing all of it, a very important aspect of Philippine election. It is the context by which Filipinos would cast their votes. And what is that? The idealism that is behind every candidate. In the Philippines, it is not important if you are equipped with capability to do things. Luckily, we have a very good example today, our Philippine Senate. And fun as it may seem, we have the people who, by reason of their background, do not even understand the basic of laws, and yet they are lawmaker. They haven't been to any capability or capacity building seminar or anything of that sort. So they could, by themselves, be able to create a public policy. And yet, they are senators. Funny, but most Filipino, many Filipinos, finds it very, very ideal. You see, they adore those people despite that they are incapable. They love those people despite they knew that they could not deliver. And I would say I have to make a very simple example of that. Look at this guy, Mr. Tolfo. It took the guys 2 years to create a single law. Mr. Padilla stayed in the Senate for 2 years without any single simple law passed. And you may say about collaboration. How in the world could he collaborate on matters that he completely doesn't know? Ruben Padilla is simply a guy who sits there and do nothing, but people loves him. Look at this Philippine. He's our number one senator with empty brains, practically. It is unfortunate, but very true. And many people do not want to hear that. We don't want to hear that our beloved politicians are not capable. As long as they can make them happy, in politics it is in the Philippines making people happy. Like you can dance, sing. It doesn't matter if you do not know anything. As long as you can dance, you can sing, can make them laugh, you get their votes. You see? How strange. But that is Philippine politics. Stupid politics. We have bobo botantes in our country, a lot of them. They don't know what exactly these people are running for, and they would vote them for that position that they, the politicians themselves, doesn't know what that position would require them to do. There are many councilors in our municipalities or cities. They run for the position. They don't know how to make public policy. I remember one time I encountered a guy who was campaigning just before um, May 2010 election. I think that was the time of then Dr. Arroyo. I'm not so sure. But way back then, many years back. And I asked the guy, if you could tell me exactly what is your public policy that you would be promoting, that you would be sponsoring, that you would be pushing. If you have a clear platform about it, then my whole family would be voting for you alone. No other. You tell me, what is your public policy? What is that policy you want to promote? What is that policy you want to sponsor, if there are? He cannot tell of any. He doesn't have. What he has, we are friends. Pre, tulungan mo ako. But going there, in the city council, it is not them asking our help. It is them supposedly helping us, helping the people, helping us to make our lives better. But what's happening in the Philippine politics? We make their lives better. We gave them jobs. We gave them jobs. They got salary. And they don't know what to do with the job we gave them. It's very important to look into every office. That's why the first topic we discussed here was talking about what? The function of its branch of the government. Ano bang ginagawa ng gobyerno? Anong ginagawa ng hudikatura? Anong ginagawa ng ehekutibo? Anong ginagawa ng ating lehislatibo? You see, if you do not know the function of its government branch, then you will be pushing people to it as if, they're good. He's kind. He's a good person. But being a good person does not make a good senator. Being a good person does not make a good congressman, or does not make a good mayor, in fact. There are capabilities that is required of these people. Unfortunately, our Constitution is so basic. Ano sinasabi ng Constitution? Knows how to read and write. If you can read, you can write, you're good enough. Even though in reality, you're good for nothing. So that's the toxicity of the Philippine politics. Those people who are good, those people who are capable, those people who has the capacity do not get the position. And so they just say, so let them have it their way. I remember way back in my province, may tumakbong isang dating former secretary of agriculture. Ang kalaban niya, wala lang. Pagka-governor. Hindi siya manalo. With his capability, he used to be the rapporteur of the Philippines to the United Nations. He used to be the in-house legal counsel of Ayala Subil Corporation. Di siya manalo. Why? Kasi hindi siya popular. He's an academic guy. He belongs to the academe. Ang kalaban niya, isang politikong sikat na, with all, the qualities of politicians, mambubula, manloko, and yet Filipinos love that. Why? They get 500 pesos or 1,000 pesos just before the election. So we have a culture of voters who are not only capable of knowing the capability and capacities of our politician, but who are also voters for sale. Binibili. Mga butanting walang alam, madaling mauto, and we have 80%, sad to say, 80%, roughly, I would say that, roughly 80% of our voters in the country are incapable of looking into the background and are completely reliant on the ideas of others. Kung anong sasabihin ng iba, yun na yun. Di sila marunong tumingin or like going into the details of this guy, taking time to know exactly who that guy is. They won't do that. And just vote for the person who is actually an actor in the TV or somebody who is well known. Like we have a coming election by 2025 and it is a complete political fiasco. Can you imagine Manny Pacquiao is running again for senator? He is, by the way, how would I say that? He is the country's most able academic guy. Manny Pacquiao. Pinakamatalinong tao sa Pilipinas. Simula noon hanggang ngayon. Wala makatalo. He completed his bachelor's degree in just 3 months at the University of Makati. Can you imagine? Anybody who could complete a 4-year course in a matter of 3 months. Look at that. That's Philippine politics. Now we have a genius guy, Manny Pacquiao, running for senator. He's worldwide known as the Pac-Man. 8th division world champion of boxing. Shout out sa kay Michael Abarquez. This is really funny why we have this kind of politics. Na ang mahalaga, sikat ka, kahit wala kang alam. Looks another guy. We have another guy. Who is that? Philip Salvador, running for senator. Ano bang alam niya sa public policy formulation? Ha? Yun ang problema. And a lot of guys would vote for somebody na hindi rin nila alam kung anong gagawin ng taong yun at hindi rin nila alam kung ano ang ipapagawa nila because we are the people. The power resides on us. But the moment we vote on election, we transfer that power to the politician. Yan ang problema sa maraming tao. Tama ka ho, Mr. Michael. Maraming tao. They would just say, I don't know. Kaya yung problema natin, even in municipal councils, it's becoming a toxic problem today. Ang daming mga councilor, walang kaalam-alam. And yet they're voted. They win. Why? Magaling magpainom. Galing magpainom. And so, pag lasing na, matalino na yan si councilor. Yan ang aming ibubuto. Kahit practically walang alam. And that is very sad fact. And then, naghahanap tayo. Paano mag-improve ang Pilipinas? Dapat umasinsa tayo. Para lang yan, I'll make it very simple. Bumili tayo ng computer na ang gamit niya, let's say it is a x86 architecture. Pang Windows. Okay, Windows. Tapos yung kanyang processor, ang binili natin ay Pentium 2. Tapos gusto natin, itong ganitong klaseng processor ng computer, maging magandang pang-rendering. Tapos walang graphic cards. Diba? Walang graphic cards. Gusto nating magaling pang-rendering. We want to edit music. We want to edit film. And you have only Pentium 2. My goodness, for heaven's sake. So gusto nating matalinong Congress. Tapos lalagyan natin doon ng mga bobo. Are we on our right minds? I don't know. I'm sure kukunti naman ang nanonood ng sinasabi ko. But for those who would find this beneficial, I hope you could find something good on this. Bibili ka ng Mac. MacBook to. Sikat ang Mac, di ba? Pero binili mong Mac. Mac, yung version na pinakaluma. Tapos, ang pinapagawa mo, yung mga mabibigat na gawain na angkop sa panahon ngayon. It is an ARM architecture. Iba yan. Iba yan. Iba hindi nga naintindihan yan eh. Makamakbuk-makbuk lang. Nagyayabang na hindi niya naintindihan kung anong hawak niyang machine. Many of the programs, especially for rendering architecture applications, they are not designed for ARM architecture. They are designed for x86 architectures. See? Parang gobyerno natin. Hindi angkop. Ay, matalino yan. Matalino. Nung panahon noon. Nung panahon noon, matalino. You look at that. Nung panahon noon, matalino. Ang problema mo, ang panahon ngayon. We have so many problems to deal with. We have so complicated political situation. We have a world that is completely crazy in what we call regional politics. And yet, ang ilalagay mong tao, walang kaalam-alam. What happened now in our Senate? Compare that to the kind of Senate we have before. Dahil ang nilalagay na lang natin, ano na lang ng mga tao? Popular. Ay, mananalo si Willie Rebillame eh. Kaya sinasabi ko sa mga estudyante ko, if I'm not mistaken, few years from now, mananalo si Carlo Dalisay. Mananalo si Carlo Dalisay. Anong mangyayari? Pag nanalo si Cardo Dalisay, mananalo din si Vice Ganda. Mga senator natin yan. Vote for them. Mr. Michael? So, mananalo tong mga to. Bakit? They're popular. It doesn't matter if they are capable or not as long as they are popular. Ang akala natin, gano'n na ang politics. But that action of Filipinos is very, very immoral and irresponsible. Why? It would affect not only our country. Yeah, si Vice Ganda. Mananalo yan. Tama kayo, mananalo yan. Because as I've said, 80% of our voting population in the Philippines ay hindi alam what are the position that those people that are voting would be filling up, and what to expect from these people, and what are these people capable of doing. Mambabatas? Ni hindi alam kung anong batas? Thank you po, Mr. Michael. So, thank you for subscribing. Ilang naman nag-subscribe dito. But the point is, I hope people would learn from this. As a public school teacher, as a government consultant of different government agencies, I know what I'm talking about. But of course, hindi kami pwede. Ngayon lang ako nag-public. Dahil before, mas complicated ang involvement ko sa government. But now, I'm just with the Department of Education. So, I know what I'm talking about. How deep are these things? How complicated are these problems? Marami tayong problema dahil ang nilalagay natin sa gobyerno na politiko ay problema. I don't know what will happen to the Philippines. Pag hindi na bago ang concept na to, kisyo popular, buto natin. And if we have that mindset of putting into office people who are popular, regardless if they are capable or not, as long as they are popular, then we are making Philippines a country with politics that are technically from the lower to the higher ladder of our governance, very problematic. Sana nga mabago, pero ano ba, Mr. Michael? Hindi pwede mabago. The new generation, that's why as a teacher, I'm trying to influence the mind of the youngsters. It is not popularity, it is capability that should be the barometer, the measure, the standard that should be used for every politician. Like here. Yeah, dalawa kayo. In our Parañaque City, people here, they vote for politicians who have been there in the politics for so long, even though they are not very capable, and there are those who are running for office who are more capable than they are, but they are not as popular as those politicians who had been there in the office for so long. Kahit sila lukuhin, kahit sila gawing uto-uto, basta popular yung binoto, kilala nila, feeling kilala sila, na hindi naman sila kilala, ng akala nilang kilala nila. Ay, taga Batangas so kayo. Yeah, I was in Batangas. I used to serve the province of Batangas in special capacity. I had that once. But when we look deep in the politics of the Philippines right now, it is a grim reality. Tingnan nyo na lang ang nagiging barangay councilor. Huwag tayong lalayo. Barangay councilor. Anong alam ni konsehal? Wala. Ba't binoto? Kainuman eh. Yung concept that, tulungan nyo o pre manalo, it should not be that way. Kasi pag manalo, dapat sila'y tutulong sa atin. Hindi natin tutulungan silang manalo, makakuha ng sahod monthly. No. They are actually applying for work. And that is the work of what? Law-making. Magsusulat ng batas. Sa barangay, ordinansa ang sinusulat. Hindi pa batas, pero batas na rin yan in the lower rung of laws. Batas yan, batas pang barangay, we call it ordinansa. You go to towns and cities, you have what? Still ordinansa. Pero that is batas also, in a lower form, in a lower rung or successions of laws. Tapos ang ilalagay natin, kakumpare, kakilala. Anong gagawin nila? Ay pre, kumusta ang batas natin? Ay hindi pre, ayos lang tayo. When you think about it, we are making Philippines, we are making our local government, we are making the entire machinery of the government poor, weak, incapable. Tapos, mag-i-expect tayo ng magandang gobyerno. Either tayo ay may tama o tinamaan. Di ba? Look at that. Even kids would know. Gaya ng example ko kanina sa computer. Naglagay tayo ng computer na hindi naman kaya. And then, expect natin ng magandang performance. Once we buy the words of the politician, tingnan natin, ano bang kakayahan niya? Look at that West Philippine Sea issues. Okay? Talking about that. Daming sumasasaw dyan ng mga politiko. Problema, they're not even lawyers. Okay. Well, I am no lawyer by myself, except that I've been part of judiciary. I fought my own cases. I went to the Supreme Court against 2 lawyers. I won my case. So technically, I understand the language of law. And I understand this particular issue in the West Philippine Sea. Una sa lahat, yung ating kiniklaim na kung saan-saan hanggang, una dyan na problema, dahil lang nakatakda in the world concept, okay, kaya yung mga UNCLOS na sinasabi natin, ang ating territorial waters is only 12 nautical miles. Okay? 12 nautical miles yan. Pareho yan. Ang China overlapping, nakarating sa atin. Now, we have a new baseline law. Dalawa yung pinasambagong batas, hindi ko pa rin nga nakita, hindi ko pa nabasa. But in this old concept na meron tayo, 12 kilometers. Ang isang bagay lang dyan na nakita natin, nang naging part ng Philippine territory, yung Pag-asa Island. Kasi galing sa Pag-asa Island, magkakaroon ng another 12 nautical miles palabas. So, yung territory ng Pilipinas umextend. So, hindi lang siya doon nagiging exclusive economic zone. Because from Pag-asa Island, there's another 12 miles palabas. So, ang bilang ngayon ng 12 miles na ating territory, hindi galing sa baseline ng Palawan, kundi galing doon sa Pag-asa. But of course, that is contentious. Hanggang ngayon, hindi yan settled. But, ang problema, that's only with China. Kasi sa UNCLOS, nanalo na tayo. So with respect to other countries, ang ating teritoryo, ando nakarating. 12 nautical miles galing sa Pag-asa Municipality, which is nandun katabi na ng ginawang island ng China. So when you think about that, um, it would give you an idea, hala, territory pala talaga doon ng Pilipinas, yung pinupuntahan ng mga Chinese, and why we are not making anything about it. Pumapasok sila sa territory natin. Hindi yun exclusive economic zone. And yeah, talking about sa nasirang barko ng Pilipinas doon, hindi yun, actually hindi yun sira. That is still commissioned ship, the Sierra Madre. Hindi po yun neglected or considered na sira na. It's only grounded doon sa baho, pero yun ay commissioned ship pa po. So kung gigirahin nyo ng China, aawayin ng China yun, nakikipaggira siya ng aktualan sa barko ng Pilipinas o sa puwersa ng Navy ng Pilipinas. That's the concept of that. It is still commissioned ship. Sirang-sira ang mukha, pero commissioned ship. Hindi yung dini-commission. So, it is funny right now na minsan nga, itong bagay na to, marami ditong nasali, do hindi nila naintindihan. I remember na nag-seminar din ako sa matatag curriculum, pati nagtuturo sa amin, hindi naintindihan yan. So I clarified few things about it. That is the area of what we call our jurisdiction. Ano bang nasasakupan natin? Nasasakupan tubig, nasasakupan lupa, and that's part of that. And right now, we have the new law. Mayroon na tayong daanan lang ng barko na international. Mayroon din tayong daanan lang ng eroplano na international. Hindi na sila dadaan kahit saan-saan. That is our new law. At siyempre, hindi masaya ang China. Why? Sila naman kasi yung panira. Wala naman yung ibang bansang reklamo. Sila yung may reklamo kasi sila that lagi ang problema natin. And not only us, but the rest like Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, China is the problem. But, well, as you know it, yun na nga, ang tao talaga ay a great asset kasi naniliverage siya ng China. Even against America, if we are not aware of that. America producing products na ang expected nilang consumer ay China. Like for example, production nila ng soy. Sinong kanilang expected na bibili nito? China. Production nila ng flour. Sinong expected nilang bibili ng karamihan nito? China. That's the problem with America. Hindi siya pwedeng basta na lang gulangan yung China because also in a way America is kind of dependent in China in terms of market. China in a way also is dependent sa Amerika. Kaya hindi rin na pwede ang China gulangin ang Amerika because in terms of technology, despite na mayroon siyang technology, nangungupya lang siya most of the time. So kailangan niya ang Amerika, Russia, and Europe para maging model ng kanyang technology. Okay, that's the problem. So we are rather interdependent community. And what we see in international politics is also true in the local politics. Nakamodel tayo dyan. Who's the president? Who's the senators? It affects also our choices sometimes ng ating mga mayor. Mga mayor, mga councilors. What are they? Kaya, pag titingnan mo, you have the world model, you have the regional model, and then you have the national model, and then you have a simple community model of politics. And in Philippines, like ngayon, panahon ni BBM lahat ng politiko. Yeah, Mr. Michael. Panahon ni BBM lahat ng politiko ngayon. Me, as a Filipino, I am only loyal to the Republic of the Philippines. Before, when I was younger, I'm kind of idealistic. I really love the old Marcos because of his speeches. He was a very good speaker, a public speaker of powerful speech. I love him for that. You see? He speaks extemporaneously, without outline, without prompter, just like what I'm doing today. I have no prompter, I have no outline. But I have things right in my mind, what I'm supposed to say. And that's the guide for me. So, the problem with our politics here right now is not that we do not have people who can do it. Sabi na ng isang Chief Justice natin dati, the problem with the Philippine government is not that we lack people with the right mind or right capacity, but we put square pegs in round holes. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Naglalagay tayo ng maling tao sa maling trabaho o sa tamang trabaho. Maling tao sa tamang trabaho. O maling tao para sa maling trabaho. Both ways. Or tamang trabaho at tamang tao sa maling trabaho. Just like people who are applying for mayor, applying for councilor, applying for senator or congressman, and we vote for them. We put them there, allowing them to get a job that they are not capable of doing. So I hope titingnan natin, coming election, doon sa makapanood pa dito, tingnan ang capabilities ng kandidato. Huwag ang popularity. Because if we stick on popularity, tinutulungan nating sirain ang ating bansa. Tulungan nating ayusin to. At hindi politiko ang kailangang umayos nito. Tayo, every Filipino, this is our duty. Hindi ito duty ng politiko. Ang politiko nandyan, para ano? Para makakuha ng trabaho. Para magkaroon ng kakapangyarihan. Tingnan niyo itong mga kandidato ngayon. Pamilya-pamilya na. Look at the Villar's. Nanay, magkapatid. Tatlo silang magiging senador. Imagine that. This is becoming more crazy. So, magkapatid na Cayetano. These people are just so mixed up. We have that in our constitution. Pinagbabawal ang ano? Pinagbabawal ang pagkaroon ng political dynasty. Bakit walang batas na ginagawa to support that? That provision of the Constitution. Dahil guilty ang ating mga mambabatas sa bagay na yan. They are violating our Constitution no less. And yet we are voting for them. Binuboto natin ang mga tao na lumalabag sa konstitusyon. Sinasabi ng konstitusyon natin, bawal ang political dynasty. And yet we keep voting for these people who are actually political dynasties in the country. So I hope for those people, jeez, for those people who would see this particular video, I hope you would learn something from this. And I really hope it could help. And I would want to bring up the next topic next time around. When I have time, I'll bring up the next topic. Anyway, we have a very long window of opportunity for this. I call this election education. So we have a long window until the election by May. Thank you for listening. Sir Michael, thank you for listening. And for the other one who already left. Thank you everyone who will be able to see this broadcast. Thank you. Good afternoon.